Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Rocket Rabbit Commentaries run-through of Digimon World 3, and in this episode we'll be finishing up Duel Island from the Asuka server.
Draw.
No, not actually a terrible hand. We've got like 50 points of AP and HP coming around. We've got a program charge in order to get us a piece of removal, probably our Eclipse Undo.
Install
and we
the
got
commando.
a Digimon charge if we want to use it. Yes, as annotation Gerdat mentions here, we were the original plan was to run a brown-focused creature deck, and then it turns out that the best brown cards that I have access to are specifically Guardromon, and I could only find one Guardromon through my grinding session, so we were unable to get a full brown creature deck up and running. It was sad. But this is what I mean by a red at this point in the game is actually got the highest raw power, because Greymon specifically is a 20/20 for a single S energy, and its only actual competition are either Growlmon, who's also in red, or Devimon, who doesn't actually match up in either slot at 19/18.
Round one goes to Junior.
Yes. Well, we have an Andromon, but it's a very weak Andromon this time.
Growlmon. The rookie Hagurumon.
And we lose here.
Damn it. That's some quick math there, partner. The opponents are getting more challenging.
Only slightly. Fire Cannon's going to kill our Growlmon, and then we're just not going to have anywhere near enough stats, because Growlmon is just that important to our board right now.
Oh my god, he's playing removal.
Because we only generated Andromon with a 3 of a kind, we only get direct stat bonuses, so... It's one of the mechanics that I think is honestly worth building your deck around, but it's a bit more complicated as you get into the higher numbers. 3 of a kind is just straight stat doubler, but if you scored 4 of a kind, you get a stat doubler plus 20 points.
That's a lot of big numbers.
This is actually easier. This is one of the few instances where the round 3 is easier than the round 2, specifically because since he doesn't have Fire Cannon, he can't remove any of our targets. Whereas our Eclipse Undo makes it so that we can just delete his board.
Okay, he's at 0, and we got 16, so we win. Yeah.
Yep. 0-8 alpha. I think that in order to get the 0-8 alpha, you end up having to go all the way over to the Amaterasu server, but that is a spoiler. So
wait, so all these Divermon, when you beat them, they say, "Hey, you're pretty good,"
and then they give us a card pack,
and then they go to the designated Master. Please stand here to let the player pass station, and then we proceed to the next opponent.
All right, I should probably explain what the actual best what the actual best colors in the game reasonably are. To be perfectly honest, the best single color in the game is actually blue, because blue gets access to not only Eclipse Undo, which is one of the more powerful pieces of removal in the game, they also get access to Freeze Bug. And if you're familiar with Magic the Gathering, Freeze Bug specifically is Counterspell, which allows you to effectively, negate any of your opponent's program cards. It is absurdly powerful, and to the point where if you're going to be trying to run a monocolored deck in this game, I would specifically recommend trying to run mono blue at the end of the game, specifically so that you can take advantage of both Freeze Bug and the relatively powerful and easy to use Mega level blue Digimon that they've got. That said, blue creatures in this game tend to be not exactly all that powerful when it comes to stat distribution. If you're looking for easy to use stat distribution, you have to use the brown/yellow color, because they don't actually spend or generate S energy. Because they don't generate or spend S energy, you can load up your deck with brown ultimate level Digimon, specifically Shaco and Vadamon, and attempt to get the 3-of-a-kind/4-of-a-kind bonuses all over the place. Doing so will actually be able to take you to almost the end of the game relatively easily. But you will have difficulties when you actually get there, because the end of the game opponents are just cheating.
Okay, we're gonna have to... Ooh. That was a good move.
Yes, as Annotations Gerdat mentions here, program cards are explicitly better than creature cards in this game. Like, you can make the argument in Magic that creature cards are more important because of the ability to actually deal damage to your opponent multiple times in Magic. However, since there's only one combat phase in this game, the ability to interact with your opponent's board is significantly more important than the ability to deal damage to your opponent, because dealing damage to your opponent once is all you usually need to do.
Oh, look. It's the champion. And scrawled on the left is his wins in a row, with no losses. Until now.
Well, he's actually going to beat us the first time, because our first hand is not actually all that good, and he uses Rusty Dust on us, which is going to actually, well, it would have killed our program charge, and then he hits us with Cancel Will. Damn it.
My god, it's a chain.
So yeah, our first turn here is actually very weak.
Jesus.
Now, Duel King is interesting specifically because his deck is primarily based around using program cards in order to interact with us. This is where you're actually supposed to learn that program cards are significantly better than Digimon cards.
Right, because you can have any Digimon on the field until they are removed or otherwise modified by effects. Like, cool card, bro, but unfortunately for you, it's DTR.
Dies to removal.
Yes, sir. You come to appreciate these characteristics of the cards you play.
And here is one of the second best cards in the game, Charge Terminal. It allows you to draw 2 cards just by spending 1. And you generate S energy from the cards you draw, so it's very nice.
So our object is to get our S energy as high as possible so that we can play more powerful program cards.
No, we don't spend S energy in order to play program cards. Program cards are free, thankfully. They generate S energy, though.
Okay, very good.
Berserk energy to kill our Hagurumon.
Okay, so this is probably
cancel out our assault armor. Damn it!
Like in case players getting to the champion round haven't figured it out yet, that this guy is going to school you on how program cards can make a losing board situation suddenly a winning board situation.
There's that other summon Devimon. Now I have to respond with my Eclipse Undo. I think I actually cut out my first loss against him. Yeah, I cut out my first loss. Okay.
I mean, we know what losing looks like. You run out of life points, and then the game says ha ha ha, and then you go back to the main world, and then you have to listen to the "oh, I just beat you" dialogue, and then you reinitiate the conversation by initiating the character, and then he starts the. So tell me this: is it the same conversation, regardless of how many times you played against the opponent, or is it a different one?
Yes, it's the same conversation.
God damn it! Right now, is he going to get out of the way so we can sit on the throne?
No, he's just going to forcibly teleport us back to the start of Duel Island. Now, I could show off that that Duel Island immediately upgrades into their post-champion decks. Unfortunately, I decided not to because we would just get trounced. Absolutely trounced. Because literally all after a certain point in the game, it becomes very clear that not only are your opponents have significantly stronger cards than you, but they're also effectively cheating. Because, all right, since we're not gonna get into the Amaterasu Duel tournament, I need to get over to this now. Post game for Digimon World 3 is a terrible nightmare. Very terrible nightmare, because you end up having to use our final method of transportation in order to try and track down a couple of particular NPCs in order to actually go through the Amaterasu Duel tournament. That quest will have you attempt and fail to acquire each of the legendary cards in the game, and there is a legendary creature and a legendary program card for each color. And your deck, it would get significantly better if you attempt to run the legendary program cards specifically, because again, they don't cost anything and they have absolutely absurd effects. For example, the blue legendary program card, God, my nose is so fucking stuffy. Ugh. The blue legendary program card returns all non-blue Digimon on the field to the owner's hands.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're running any sort of blue creature focused deck, you throw one of those in, and you're guaranteed to win one of your 3 rounds effectively, assuming that you can actually resolve it. Because the other big thing that starts to happen towards the end of the game is literally every opponent is running 4 copies of Freeze Bug, and they usually have 1 in their opening hand. It becomes an Ash Blossom, and I know that Mr. Cloud might not actually be familiar with what Ash Blossom is, but Ash Blossom is the dedicated hand trap in the Yu-Gi-Oh space right now, and has been for eons and eons.
Yes, hand traps. I didn't see it coming, because trap cards are supposed to be on the field, not in your hand. Although, now that I think about it, Kuribo does take the cake for being the very first hand trap card in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yes. It's also one of the worst hand trap cards in Yu-Gi-Oh!, but I still love him anyway.
He's the pioneer.
Well, when it comes to actually interacting with your opponent, I would argue that DD Crow is actually the pioneer of hand traps.
Followed by Honest, and then later, Goryu, the Emissary of Darkness.
Gores, but I think Gores... No. Gores and Honest release around the same time.
There is light.
Because Gores is a short and jump promo.
There are trap cards, and there are hand cards.
Alright, so now that we've successfully dealt with Duel Island, the next big thing that we need to do for the narrative specifically is we need to make it over to West Sector. Thanks to the fact that several parts ago we actually managed to complete the Samarimon quest, we can actually go via Seabed and get over to West Sector.
The path is now clear.
91. So what's new in the world of Cloud as we attempt to go through some more backtracking?
Talk about, getting my world rocked in Magic on and off Rocket Rabbit. Oh, yeah. The cards. Come to realize that replacement effects that says, in the normal course of games, this will ordinarily happen, but instead do this. Yeah, those cards can be innocuous, and in other situations, they can be devastating.
Yeah.
That is all.
What is it? Painter and Soul Warden combo?
Huh. Instead of having everything happen, have nothing happen instead. And in the next
Frozen
part,
Orb. Okay. In the next episode, we will make it over to West Sector. Be safe, everybody.